Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gibbo the Shaman, and today we are talking about my experience with 5-dimensional or higher dimensional beings and what they've told me, what they've conveyed to me in channeled readings from my spiritual counselor. Okay? So I think it's important for all humans to understand these concepts and these principles because it's just so valuable. And if you want to manifest things, if you want to manifest what will be your your perfect health, your perfect world, everything in your life, if you want everything in your life to be in accordance with what you want, you need to be following these principles. Okay, so I have a whole chart for you guys, a whole lot of slides to go over today. So here is the first one. Now, the first assumption is that you are God. You are a deity. Now, a lot of people have, a lot of feelings about, oh God, that's so blasphemous, I can't, whatever. And it's just like when I explain this stuff to you, I hope you'll have a better understanding of what I mean. So let's just assume, for example, that you are God. The number 2 assumption is that you chose to come down to Earth because there was something that you wanted to experience. You want a human experience because you want to experience joy. You want to experience physicality. Okay? What it's like for the physical world. And the other experiences is, or the assumptions is everything that's negative in your life that happened to you, you created it. Hey, you're the God. You're, let me fix my camera up here. There we go. So, look, you're you're the God. You're the one who created everything here. Okay? And so that means that every human being who incarnated in Earth is on a higher dimensional level one of the most powerful beings in existence. And so this means that we have the capability. Look, we have, the capability of this deity power right here. Okay, but we have our human power down here. Okay, so our human power is a lot different than our deity power. There's a scale here. See that? There's a scale. And so in order to ascend to our deity power, what we need to do is this. Watch. So here's a bunch of things that are keeping us locked in from achieving our deity power and being able to manifest what we want. So there's, I could even put it this way, on that scale, these are the things that you need to overcome and to deal with and address and, gain awareness of and things like that. But also I could do this, watch, I could do this. So here's you at the top. You're a deity. And, hold on. Oh, yeah. Hold on. There we go. So you're a deity, right? That's the first assumption. And then in order to get to where you want to be, where you need to be, that's, that's down here. So in order to reach your dreams, you need to overcome all these things, or you need to become aware of all these things. Okay? So guilt, resentment, shame, anger, trauma, victimhood, powerlessness, disconnection, lack of trust, safety in staying small, fear of your true power, any kind of limiting beliefs, incorrect assumptions, unconscious self-sabotage, resistance, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So these are the things that are preventing you from being a self-realized deity on Earth. And the one thing that I had realized during my last channeling session was I in my head, so I was a Egyptian priest in a former life during the sinking of Atlantis. And I was an Egyptian priest, meaning that I built the pyramid. I had a role in building the pyramids. I had a role in, preserving the information and also using those things to protect the world. And then the Great Flood came in and, decimated everything. And then, so, there was during that life as that priest, I had such great connection to the divine. It was like me and the divine were like this, we were connected, we were together. And then when that, the catastrophe came to Earth, I then decided this is important. I decided to go down to Earth. I decided to descend with Earth. And it turns out that I had healed hundreds of thousands of people. I've healed and awakened hundreds of thousands of people. And in my life as this priest and this master of the heart chakra, that was me. And then I've chosen to spend lifetimes beating myself up, and part of that was this lifetime, but then I'm like, yeah, I think I want to shift up, so we'll try that. Okay, so this stuff isn't easy. I don't want to pretend like it is. It's not easy to get into this stuff. Guilt, shame, resentment, anger, trauma, victimhood, powerlessness. And so, but this is the stuff that is in the gap between you as a human, your humanly power, and your deity power up here. So, it's up to you whether you want to bridge that gap. whether you want to go on a journey of self-discovery and heal on the deepest level you could possibly imagine. Because what I've said before is that the love of the universe is constantly available to us. It's unconditional, unceasing love. It's like a stream that does not stop. But it's within us to turn that spigot off or on. And so, you do that you turn it off by, staying in your intellect or victim mentality or self-hatred, shame, guilt, resentment, powerlessness, victimhood. Like, oh, I'm a victim, so I can't receive any love or whatever. It's all psychology, guys. It's all psychology. And so, this is stuff to meditate on. You can't just quick fix it. You got to meditate on certain things. So let me see if I'm going to change this up now. And we'll go to the gallery. Okay. So now I will show you a chart. Okay. So this is the dimensional chart. This is, oh wait. There we go. Okay, so this is the chart of the 12 dimensions. So, up at the top, you have the 12th dimension. And I'm not exactly sure how far up the dimensions go. I'm just using this as an example. Some people have said, oh yeah, there's 12 dimensions and not 13 or not 9 or 11. Okay, so let's say at the 12th dimension, this is actually a really good example. Okay, so the 12th dimension is the pure source of consciousness. This is God. This is, whatever you want to call it, like the source of unconditional love, the source of consciousness, the source of all of our souls, the source of everything. Okay? And then the 11th dimension we have, so there was actually just looking at this makes so much sense. Okay? So in Taoist teachings, they said, there was the one source, the where everything came from, one source, the source of consciousness, the source of energy, all that. And then the one became the two, yin and yang, the mother-father deity. So this is literally the light and darkness, the mother and the father. And my teacher has actually met this being. It's like two beings in one. Like, it's almost like part of one thing, but it's like, the yin yang symbol forms a circle, right? So it's like that. So this is the mother father being. So the one became the two became the three ones. So this is This is Brahma, Shiva, so Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu. This is Odin, Vili, and Ve. The 10th dimensional, you see those 3 circles there. This is, the 3 ones. This is, if you look at Hindu tradition, the Trimurti, the 3 gods representing the universe. This is Odin, Vili, and Ve. This is Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu. That, okay? So 10th dimensional is that. And I just like kind of drew this last minute kind of thing just to show you guys. And then it says in this tradition, this Taoist tradition, okay, the 1 became the 2 became the 3 became the 5. And what do we see on the 9th dimension? The 5 elements. So that, that 9th dimension should be 5, consist of 5 circles. So on that level, 9th dimensional level, we have elements. We have, like, and this could be ways of manifestation. So the elements, when we talk about the elements are just the ways in which energy moves. So for example, fire, where if you have a fire, which way does the energy move? It moves up. You can, if you hold your hand above a fire, you can feel that heat rising up and hitting your hand. Okay, right? If you have water, think about this. Water. Which way does water move? Water moves down. Down, right? Like a waterfall. So water moves down, fire moves up, and then we have what's called so fire would be on the south, moving up towards the center. Water would be in the north, moving down towards the center. And then we have wood or ether in the east. And this is expanding energy. Expanding, broadening out. Okay. And then, so that's wood or ether. And then air or metal. So we have air or metal in the west. And this is like shrinking or cutting. So this is, think about metal. How is metal formed? It's, taking these enzymes, these elements, and compacting them, and through time and pressure, we get metal, we get steel, so this is things coming together. This is the intellect. This is the, things consolidating, becoming solid. And so, I believe, just since I saw this here, I'm kind of riffing now, but I believe that's what this is about. And it's also funny that this is the 9th dimension, because we have, well, so we have 9 dimensions, we have 9 directions in our, the medicine wheel or the thunder wheel. I challenge you to go look up the thunder wheel and the rune wheel. Okay, so we have 9 directions, 9 dimensions. And so we have northeast. So on top of north, south, east, west, center, which is 5, we have northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. Right? So that's 9. And each of those means something else. So, all right. So earth, the earth element, is the center, the rock. It's stationary. It's, it takes it like absorbs all of these elements, and then it blooms from those. So for example, wood grows up, if you have a lot of forest where wood is constantly growing, and then it, so there's some like overgrowth, a lot of overgrowth, and then the fire comes, sun or whatever, fire comes to burn all that overgrowth down, and then it creates ash, and it creates, these good things. Actually, if you burn a crop, then it's going to grow even better the next year because of that. It's the earth is taking in that, that charcoal, that, those enzymes and things, and it's actually enriching the soil. And then, so with the fire, the fire is, so we have like those, those nutrients that the fire burns, those go deep into the ground, and those form metal, right? Those form metal or air, like it's metal. So the metal then, it's a cycle that goes to the water. So so deep beneath the metal is the water flowing underground, right? So this water, it's like it's trust, it's nourishment, it's all those things. And so the Trimurti, the Odin, Vili, the Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, those work with the 5 elements. And also, if you wanted to look at this as like, okay, 10th dimension, we have those guys, Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, Odin, Vili, and Ve, and then they're like expanding because they want to broaden, their consciousness. So they create like offshoots of them. They create offshoots of themselves. Okay, I'm gonna create a 9th dimensional being. I'm gonna create an 8th dimensional being. Like, I'm gonna create this whole thing, this multiple beings, multiple dimensions, and they all can say, hey, I am God, I am Brahma, I am Shiva, I am Vishnu, because they have that direct soul connection, right? I mean, so whenever a human, even though you might say, oh man, they're really screwing up, they're really deluded or whatever, when they say, oh, I'm actually Vishnu, on a higher dimensional level, I'm Vishnu. When someone says that, I want you to examine your thoughts on that. Think about it, if someone was to come up to you and say, "Hey, I just learned that I am Shiva, that I am Brahma, I am Vishnu, I am Odin, I am they." What do you think? Be honest with me. Like, you don't even have to write it down in the comments. What would your thoughts be on that? Be honest. Would you be judgmental? Would you be like, this guy's fucking crazy? Or would you be, accepting of that? Oh, wow, that's cool. I wonder what I am. So, those thoughts, are what's going to set you apart. So, I have come to learn that on a higher dimensional level, probably ninth dimension, 12th dimension, something like that, my soul essence is tied in with Vishnu, with they. So when I learned that, I was like, oh my god, I wasn't like, oh my god, I'm so good, I'm so awesome, I'm so amazing. No, it was like, oh, okay. I guess. Sure. you know? That's because of, our own self-evaluation and things like that. It's like, anyway, so just something to think about. So like each of these circles in this diagram is a person, is like ETs, and this is just one kind of, just a kind of a learning tool to teach you guys, okay, like one guy manifested himself into all of this, or themselves, there's males and females, and in fact I'm so glad that my teacher actually told me the name of a being that we were working with, that is one of my guides, and she's this beautiful goddess. and so yeah, now I get to call her, I get to communicate with her, and by name, and that'll strengthen, I'm sure, my interdimensional connection and all that. So anyway, so let me see here. So here are the assumptions that I want you to take. Okay. Number 1, you are a powerful deity. You are God. In since the Western mind is very assimilated with Christianity, I will say, you're God. But you could be, Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu. You could be tied in with, the mother, father deity. Any of those, and it's incumbent upon you to figure out which one you are. Nobody can do that for you. Okay, so number 2, you can manifest everything in your life. So you manifested everything in your life, both good and bad. So, I hear people complaining, yapping about, oh God, they're not making enough money. They're, miserable. They're being abused. They're being mistreated. All this stuff, and it's just like, you did it to yourself. And trust me, that's a hard lesson to learn. Because as a individual with disabilities and things like that, it's easy for me to like, oh God, I can't do anything because of these, limitations and things. And it's just, at a certain level, I'm like, okay, why did I create these things? Why did I create my disabilities? And, it's friggin', that's a hard question. But that's okay. I accept the challenge. One thing about me is like, I refuse to settle for less. I want everything. I want all the power. I want, to rise and ascend and overcome to my higher self, my highest self. So, whether you want to be, you want to be lazy, you want to just be passive, you want to, accept everything. Oh, well, I guess, I'll accept this disease of cancer or, whatever it is. Or, vision loss or whatever. You want to accept that? Okay, go ahead. Fine with me. I mean, you gotta live your own experiment. And as much as I want to help people and heal them and awaken them and do those things that my priestly self was doing, at the end of the day, people can't be healed unless they want to be healed. And here's another thing. A priest or a healer is just the symbol, is just the unconscious symbol for your mind to attach onto, that you want to heal yourself. You're going to heal yourself. And it's you that do it, not me, not anyone else. It's literally you doing this. So, so yeah, you manifested everything in your life, both good and bad. And most people don't want to take the responsibility for that. It's so much easier to just blame someone else. Why did you do, whatever. In fact, I learned a very important lesson that when I was a priest, I chose to lower my frequency to come down to this earth. Because in my natural state, I was ascending. And in that life, and, the game that I played with myself was, oh my God, everyone's abandoning me. I feel angry at them. I feel pissed off. And so I'm going to now bring myself down into this earth and be unattached from them. But on a higher level, what I was doing is I was choosing that I wanted a human life. I was going to go down to earth and help people. to, awaken and expand and grow and all those things. So, and so that's, what happened. That's why I'm here. And now in this life, it's like I'm finally awakening to that, and it feels so good. It's like, oh, this is who I really am. And it's like the light beings, what the light beings told me was they were so saddened when I had these multiple lifetimes of just beating myself up, beating the crap out of myself, because I had this, I don't know, that's something that I need to meditate upon. Why did I beat myself up? Why did I choose to do this? But on a higher dimensional level, you must understand that this is just the game. This is just a game. This is not real life. Up there is real life. True life. Not here. This is the illusion. Okay. So, number 3. You will automatically manifest things in alignment with your unconscious programming. This is a quote from Carl Jung. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. Okay? So what does that mean? Oh, I have a unconscious attachment to feeling powerless. Okay. So then your life will play out in a way that you feel powerless. The universe is like, okay, you wanna feel powerless? Okay, there you go. Keep beating yourself up. Keep playing into the illusion of powerlessness. I know that was my thing throughout multiple lifetimes, was I felt powerless. I had an unconscious assumption that because I went down in frequency from that, higher priestly self where I could heal hundreds of thousands of people and awaken them and all this stuff, got a great, great power. But then now in this, these past few lives, it's just like beating myself up because I felt powerless. So, the stuff is important, guys. If you want to exit the matrix, if you want to be totally, truly free, you gotta listen to me. Okay, number 4. The unconscious mind contains trauma, hurt, beliefs and assumptions from both past and present lives. So, what I was saying here is that even if in this life, everything just seems fine and dandy, I have it easy, things are great, on the porch every morning sipping tea and, having fun and life's a breeze, no worries, no issues. even if in this life you have, you're good, you feel good. In past lives, there's those unconscious things stay with you. So if in a past life you felt resentment, you felt distrust, you were severely betrayed in a past life, then you're not going to trust anyone in this life. Okay? So those traumas, those unconscious assumptions about who you are, about your place in the world, about what life is, all of those things. If, all of those things stay with you. So if you had a past life where it was the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages, and, everyone was eating their own poop, and, literally, like, they would poop to fertilize the crops, and then they would have to boil these vegetables in order to sanitize them and whatever. And it's like, that was the norm back then. Like, so going from the Dark Ages of, like, nothing was growing, everything was just a mess. And this was in Kali Yuga, So those traumas from those past lives build up. And so if you're not addressing those things in this life, then you're just going to manifest on autopilot whatever those things are. And, most people cannot get past their feelings. Like, they'll have a crazy feeling, and then they'll say, okay, I can't work today, I gotta call off, I have to cancel my appointments with my clients, and it's just like, that's a challenge for you. No, literally, that is the challenge. Are you going to act consciously and contrary to your feelings, or are you going to let your feelings dictate your actions? So, that's important stuff. If you let your feelings dictate your actions, you'll be where you were. You're in other words, your body, your soul, you're like unconscious, your mind, it wants you to stay where you are. It wants you to stay the same. And so in order to get different results in your life, you must take contrary action. For example, an alcoholic can say, "Oh yeah, buddy, yeah, I wanna, I wanna quit drinking. Yep. I wanna change my life. I wanna get clean, you know." It's like, okay, you can want that, but unless your actions change, then you're not going to get that, Oh yeah, I'd love to do the 12 steps, but I'm just gonna sit here with you in this bar, It's like that, it's so, just like us humans, we have this, oh yeah, I want to be rescued. I want somebody to save me, And it's just like, get up and do it yourself. Nobody's coming to save you. In fact, when I learned that, that was a very harsh lesson for me when I was growing up was, dude, nobody's coming to save you. Like, nobody cares. You know, nobody's going to care about your happiness more than you do. Nobody's going to care about your well-being more than you do. Okay? And so you have to be, you have to always consistently be going after your best self-interest. What is the best thing that you could do at this moment? Okay? So that's the way of thinking that is helpful. And even when you don't feel like it, too. Okay, so the unconscious mind contains trauma, hurt, beliefs, and assumptions that from both past and present lives. I think we talked about that. You can clean out your unconscious mind by honestly and truthfully engaging in self-analysis, and introspective meditation also helps. So, some people in this world will do everything they possibly can to avoid themselves. They'll turn on the radio as loud as they can to drown out their own thoughts. They'll turn on TV to like numb themselves. They'll play video games or mobile games. Hours on end per day to drown out their own pain, and to drown out their own soul that's trying to communicate with them, trying to guide them into something more beneficial. So, it's only by listening to yourself and accepting yourself and, meditating. And I'm not, like, the meditations to clear out the mind, to, oh yeah, my mind is empty, okay, yeah, whatever. Those are great for certain people. I cannot do that for myself. The interdimensional meditations that I do are, I ask myself, like, how can I regain my power? What are, like, why did I manifest blocks to my, to getting everything that I want? Why did I manifest blocks to prosperity? Why did I manifest blocks to healthy relationships? Why did I manifest blocks to pursuing my dreams, pursuing my goals? And so, what I found, I used to work my absolute ass off on this channel, on building a business, on building this channel up, building the business up, creating new products and services and things like that. I used to work my absolute ass off in those things because I wanted to achieve my goals. go to Hawaii, go to Florida, go to Australia, some beautiful tropical paradise, and live there. Well, even though I did try my damnedest and did it, consistently for quite a while, this is the other thing, guys. This is the other thing. You can, you can take contrary action. You can work your ass off for years on end. But if your unconscious mind is rebelling against you because it has all those unconscious beliefs and assumptions and things that it's hanging on to, and powerlessness and guilt and shame and this and that, and all of that stuff is unconscious. Well, guess what? You could work your ass off till you're blue in the face. It's not gonna manifest anything. That's a lesson that I learned the hard way. So, you have to clear out your unconscious mind, and you have to analyze yourself. What is it that I truly want? What is it that will give me the greatest joy? What is it that will give me the greatest joy and happiness and pleasure and things like that? And a lot of people, say, "Oh, I know what will give me the greatest joy. Let me slam this heroin into my neck." No, that's not joy. That's avoiding your negative feelings. That's why people do that. Addictions. So yeah, I mean, that's what this life is about, and analyzing, it's a growth game. It's about how far can you take it? How far can you awaken? How much can you grow in this life? And a couple lives there, for a few lifetimes, I was beating myself up. I, self-hatred, guilt, shame, powerlessness, all that stuff. And it just, it's the light being said that they were very, very sad to see that, but hey, that was my decision. And guess what? After I came out of that stuff, and I'm still like breaking that shell coming out of that, it's like, it's I did it to myself. I coming out of that shell of misery and things like that, it's like a pressure cooker. It's like putting so much pressure on the soul, crushing it, almost like compressing it to the point that it, cracks or crushes. And that's what I was doing. And now, once I break free of that, it's like the soul, the light of awakening, the light of consciousness burns even brighter and more powerfully and stronger. And it's like a rubber band effect, you know. If you, let's say I have the rubber band in this hand, and this is the, the shooter, the, the, what is it called? That stick that's in the form of a Y, that you shoot the rubber band at. Anyway, so imagine, like, here, pulling the rubber band back to here is like just a little bit of, negativity, but all the way back here is a lot of negativity. And so when we let that go, it's going to shoot out to here. It's that rubber band effect is going to propel me even further. And that's like this, that's what life is about. Life is an experiment with consciousness, an experiment of consciousness. And so, let me see. So, yeah. So, meditating on questions like, how do I regain my power? How can I manifest my dreams? What are the blocks that what blocks did I manifest? What is blocking me from manifesting my dreams? Things like that. Show me who I really am. Show me who I really am. And you might be surprised at that answer. They might just say, oh, you are Shiva. You are Odin. And you might be like, oh. And that's the point. This is, this is Odin wanting to play a third-dimensional game. This is Shiva, this is Vishnu, Brahma, wanting to play a third-dimensional game and experiment with consciousness. So, asking those questions in meditation, how can I regain my power? You don't ask that question if your assumption is that you're powerless, then you're not going to ask, how can I regain my power? Okay? So this is important. This is where I'm going to be focusing my channel. And I will be having, I am going to be having a new Patreon tier that is interdimensional coaching. Okay, so it's teaching you how to interact with light beings, what would be like the best course of action for you to regain that power, to clear out the unconscious mind and regain power. Okay? And awareness and consciousness and how we can manifest things. Because remember guys, we are not just these little tiny human beings on this planet that are, help me, I'm powerless. No. You are the power. In fact, in one of my meditations, or one of my channeling sessions with Mahadeva, you can see this on Michael Denney's YouTube channel. Or on mine, actually. I asked him, where do I need to go? How can I, where to go, what to do to regain my power? And the answer was, there's nowhere that you can go. The power is within you. You need to expand in order to get it, kind of thing. In order to receive the power, it's like you need to expand to get it. So imagine there's all this power, like a high power battery bank, okay? So there's this like high charge battery bank. And then you, as a conduit, you only have like this much of thickness, this much of copper wire to plug into that. And it's like, man, if you plug into all that power, it's just gonna fry you. It's just going to like burst you, explode you. So you need to expand yourself. You need to turn that little tiny copper wire into this big in order to handle all the power. That's kind of the vision that I got. So if you would like to work with me, you can go to patreon.com/Gabo the Shaman. I will have that link down in the description. It's my Patreon page. Patreon.com/Gebo the Shaman. Okay, and I'm adding that interdimensional coaching tier right now, tonight, as I upload this video, so go check it out. If you're interested, if you want to really become God, if you want to really expand yourself to God, you know? And that's not a grandiose thing. That's not like an ego thing. Oh my God, my ego's so big, I'm God. No, it's actually the opposite. It's like, I feel very uncomfortable being God, but I am. That's my human self. The uncomfortability with that much power. Somebody said that there was a quote out there: people aren't afraid of the power, or yeah, people aren't afraid of poverty, they're afraid of their power. So it's like, imagine you're this powerful deity in human flesh, this immortal God. Think about what you would have to sacrifice, what you'd have to give up in order to fully come into your power, fully embrace that. And that is what's coming for humanity. Okay, so that's what's coming. And, so I would highly encourage you guys to, it's like, the train is coming. You can either, it's like it's about to take off, it's it's kind of getting started, getting ramped up, it's kind of moving a little bit, it takes a while to get speed, but you can either choose to jump on that train or be left behind. And that's your choice, and I, fully respect your choice. It's either way, guys. Either way. You can either choose to get on the train or be left behind and go even deeper into the illusion of powerlessness and victim mentality and victimhood and suffer. Because, boy, the global elites do not have anything good planned for you in their new, in their utopian hellhole or dystopian hellhole that they're creating. So what I'm speaking is the truth. You can either accept that or reject it. It matters not to me. But hey, selfishly, I want more friends there. I want more people there. I want everyone to experience how wonderful this is going to be. Okay? Alright, guys. I love you. And we will see you later. Alright? Go to patreon.com/Gebo the Shaman and check out everything that I have to offer there. Alright? Love you. Bye.